All right, fair. Can we say one more thing about attractive women? I know they're going to say, stop in a second, but I only have two more questions.
No, please
Three more
do.
questions. Is on this attractive women front, is you have said in the past
Yes.
that men react negatively
Yes.
to attractive women.
Yes.
Why is that?
Men automatically go in two directions when they see a beautiful woman. They either go in awe or they go into hostility. It's one or the other. And when their self-esteem is super, super low and they're really low about themselves, they immediately want to reject her before she can reject him. They want to find reasons to kind of get rid of their attraction because they know they have this attraction. Chances are it's not going to be reciprocated. So they have to get rid of it. And the quickest way to get rid of it is pretend you're not interested. Have to make fun of her appearance. Tell her there's something about her age. Tell her something about this. They have to somehow obliterate her self-esteem in order for them to make sense of why they're so attracted to her, but get rid of it because they don't want to face the rejection. So I think men, it can go in two directions, and they definitely make negative assumptions about beautiful women when they have low self-esteem. The number one assumption is that she's going to be promiscuous. Another assumption is she's going to be dumb. Another assumption is she's going to be manipulative. They make more and more negative assumptions about beautiful women, mainly because they've never had access to them.
Today's guest is Sadia Khan. She is trained in psychotherapy, advanced cognitive behavioral therapy, and psychoanalysis. She's dedicated her career to helping both individuals and couples around the world navigate the complexities of modern relationships. In today's conversation, we unpack the struggles of modern dating and take a deep dive into the challenges that people face when it comes to holding healthy relationships. We explore the evolving nature of relationships and speak about the direct impact the sexual revolution has had on masculinity. We discuss the challenges of modern dating, the effects pornography can have on relationships, and the rise of adult media platforms such as OnlyFans. I hope this episode brings you as much insight as I got from the conversation. Don't forget to stay around until the end, where I'll give you my top 5 takeaways. Before we get into it, I want to ask you for a small favor. We want to make sure these impactful conversations get to as many people as possible. By subscribing to this channel, you help these conversations reach the people they need to. In return, if you're part of the first 20,000 subscribers, we're going to pick 10 of you to come down here to the We Need to Talk studio to meet me, the guests, and let us know who you'd like to see on the show. Thank you. I want to talk about you.
My least favorite topic.
Why is it your least favorite topic?
I'm so uncomfortable with me talking about me, but me personally, only because I feel like everything I say is kind of overly analyzed by like people on the internet and everything. So I almost feel a bit anxious about it. And I've always been quite good at keeping my personal life very, very personal. But I think it's getting to the point where people are very much interested in stuff. So I would love to kind of open up a bit.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about you as a little girl then.
Okay.
All right. And because it's uncomfortable, we won't go way deep.
Please do, actually.
But if we can, you as a little girl, what was the first time that you knew love?
Oh, what an amazing question. I would say the first time I knew love, weirdly, was the birth of my brother. I remember we were like a bunch of girls. There's 4 girls and then a boy came at the end. So we were all eagerly waiting for a boy because we're Pakistani, you know, we won't stop trying until we get the boy. And I remember just seeing how happy it made my parents that I was like, oh my God, there's a boy. And I remember just being like unconditionally, madly in love with my brother. And then I remember feeling that for a really long time, just being like, oh, my brother is like the person I love the most. And I wasn't so close to my sisters. So I kind of projected all my love onto my brother. And I think that was the birth of my very objective perspective of men and women. So I remember feeling like, oh, I can see both sides. I can see my brother and I can see my sisters. I can see my dad and I can see my mom. I can see both sides. So I learned this kind of androgyny when it came to understanding the human mind. And I think that was the birth of this kind of misogynistic feminist that some people call me. So I think that's where it starts from.
That's interesting. So you said some people call you misogynist.
Yes.
Some people call you a feminist.
Yes.
So who are you?
I'm Sadia Khan. I am an advocate for children. I really believe I'm an advocate for children. And when you're an advocate for children, you understand that children need a male and female equally. 1 minute I could be sounding like I'm the most angry red pill man in the planet, and the next minute I could sound like a staunch feminist. But essentially, my gear and my northern light is just towards children and family.
can you talk about your romantic relationship? Because I'm sure this is a topic that many people say, okay, well, because I remember when I started matchmaking, the first question would be, well, are you married?
I know. And I try not to mention it, but I'm very happily committed in my relationship. One of the reasons I think I've managed to kind of resonate with a lot of people is because I completely understand the struggles of being somebody who's terrible at relationships. I have a disrespectful tongue when I'm anxious. I'm incredibly insecure and jealous. I predict problems that haven't even occurred yet. And I am always was in an effort to be right rather than happy. So I'd be like, okay, you're going to do this and that's going to lead to that. And you're going to have an affair and then I'm going to murder you. So that's what's going to happen. So my mindset was always to look out for the affair. Always. I always had a thing. Where are the footsteps of the affair? I used to go into a relationship with that mindset. It would never be how connected are we? How much do we love each other? How compatible we are? It's like, when are you going to cheat? How are you going to cheat? And how would I catch you? That literally would be how I'd enter any situation until I met my husband, it was just like, okay, I can put my weapons. Why are you not giving me, I can actually put my weapons down. And it felt so uncomfortable to kind of dig for problems and there weren't any. So, and as a result, I had to really reevaluate how I see love and how I see relationships, because I was forced to be like, your detective skills are not going to work here, or your usual defense mechanisms are not going to work with this person. This person is actually going to show you what healthy looks like. How are you going to cope now? And then I had to really reevaluate how I structure relationships.
This is fascinating. Yeah. So now I have to ask, what do you believe informed that behavior early on to always be looking for infidelity?
I always just had male friends. That was always who I connected with the most. I had female friends, but the problem I always felt is that they would always enter an element of competition. Not because I'm so fascinating or anything like that. It's just that it just so happens that it would lead to that direction. And I blame myself. There must be something in my energy that causes that people to start being a bit on their back foot. So unless the woman was really happily married, which I have really happily married friends, when there was any element of them still on the market, anything like, it would always just turn a little bit negative. And I would always kind of lean into my male friends and be like, oh, I don't know what happened here and I don't know what happened there. And what would happen is, because I felt a bit safer, because I felt like there was no competition, and I don't care if somebody fancies me. It doesn't affect because people are like, oh, how can you be friends with boys? They're going to want you and they're going to want to be with you. So I don't care. That's their problem. So because I never let that bother me, I was totally vulnerable with them. I always felt like, and they were vulnerable back. So what I'd learn is all the tricks of cheating in the process. So they would be like, oh yeah, I sometimes just put my girl's picture on my WhatsApp picture so she doesn't get scared, but I still message other girls. Or sometimes I'll go to the club and I'll always tell my location on, but I still do what I want when I'm there. So I realized that, they lie a lot. They lie a lot. And whereas with girls, they don't tell you if they're lying. Like, they would never expose that if they're having an affair. Boys would tell you, oh yeah, I went with this girl and then yesterday I went with that girl. And blah. So I learned this behavior that was like, oh my God, is this what you guys do? And in that moment of realization, I thought, okay, I've got to be one step ahead of guys. And then also being young and then, being around lots of men, what would happen is I would see them risk their own relationships to try and talk to me, or their own relationships to try and be with me. So I learned that men are not as monogamous as you think, and they're not as faithful as you think, particularly the men I affiliate with. I'm not saying all men, but I tend to go around men who are very confident, have a lot of access to women, who, don't struggle with women. I realized that it's not that easy. They can be madly in love with you, but still sexually attracted to somebody else. And that realization was the opposite of what girls would always tell you. They say, oh, when he loves you, he'll never touch anybody else. I'm like, yeah, but when he loves you, he sees a good pair of tits, he still might want something. People used to say to me, oh, he would never cheat on you. You're amazing. And I was like, you can be amazing, but you might have one thing that they're missing or they really crave, and they can go elsewhere. So I went in with that mentality, like, oh no, you're not going to trick me. I know that I know the situation too well. And that's where it came from.
Wow. You know what? That makes sense.
Does it actually? I feel like I just went on a roller coaster.
No. I mean, for someone who has been researching it, right? Now I begin to better understand why you have certain positions.
Yes.
Right? As a result of your childhood, as a result of having many friends who were men,
Yeah.
right? And then also having a husband who then changes your perspective, right? I see that, it's not black or white for you. You live in the gray, right? Which I think we all should live in the gray.
Objectivity. You could take my gender out of me and you could hear the same thing and it wouldn't actually change what I have to say.
Can we talk about, and I cannot wait to get your opinion of this, is let's start with the sexual revolution.
Yes.
Because I think that when you talk about modern dating, a lot of us go back to the sexual revolution and say, okay, from the sexual revolution, 60s, 70s, this is where modern dating began. How do you think dating has changed since the sexual revolution?
Welcome to my course on masculinity. And in this course, not only will I be able to completely transform your understanding of women, but on a more personal level, you will enhance your self-esteem, self-respect, and your boundaries. The goal of this course is to take a man that has absolutely fantastic intentions, wants to find love, wants to commit, wants to have a good, healthy relationship, but is finding that he's constantly running into women who are narcissistic, who are disrespectful, who are disloyal. Now, if you are finding that continuously, then there must be something in your engagement with women that is causing this. What my course will do is look at where this problem comes from, how to resolve it, how to communicate effectively with men and women, and how to command respect. Most importantly, how to improve your self-respect. And throughout the course, you'll be given interactive sessions, but with course materials to help you channel and journal your learning. So if you are interested in becoming the most masculine version of yourself, join today.